Hey guys, how's it going? Twigs here. So we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite game mode, Genius Invocation TCG in Genshin Impact. It is a card game made by the developers hoyoverse and the devs in Genshin Impact, and it was added into Genshin Impact as a permanent game mode on update 3.3 on December 7th, 2022. So, why are we talking about this card game? Why? Well, the reason is because it's been almost a year, and I wanted to reflect back on how the card game affected the overall game, and how it has evolved and how it has affected the player base since its release up until almost a year from now. And, well, if you were wondering if it had a very big impact, you'd be wrong. So, before we jump into this, I'm Sir Twiggens. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button. It'll help me out. Hitting that like button helps get the video out there. Hitting that subscribe button helps get the channel out there so we can grow a community over here. So definitely hit that like and subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you'll be informed whenever I go live or upload any new content. So, how has Genius Invocation TCG affected the game? Well, like I kind of said earlier, it really hasn't. Over time, they have added new cards to the game. They've added kind of altering game modes like challenge mode, heated battle mode. I think there was one called blitz mode. Just altering how the game mode mechanics work to just kind of shake up the gameplay. Yes, is that interesting? 100%. But there is a core issue with Genius Invocation TCG. How its reception has been perceived by the player base when it got to its event that was kind of centered around it. And the reception around this event was overall, based on what I've seen from other content creators and the people I see on Twitter or X or Reddit, is that, again, who cares? In this event, Duel of the Summoners Summit, which was back in update 3.7, it added new cards. It added a little mini game mode to kind of change up the gameplay. But overall, who cares? And one of the biggest issues with this card game, and it goes to what people were trying to say when the game mode first came out, was, oh, it's a permanent game mode. This is what you guys have been wanting. But the player base is wanting something more tied to the core gameplay of Genshin Impact, which is, over time, I hope that everyone has finally realized, is that the combat and the exploration and the story, the three things I always talk about, which is the core gameplay of Genshin Impact: gameplay, story, and exploration. Those three things are the key components of Genshin Impact's appeal. And the card game, no one's playing Genshin Impact for the card game. People want something that's tied to the core gameplay, and part of that is combat. And I would say exploration. Like I said, exploration and story is too. And one thing that people have been wanting is something similar to Labyrinth Warriors. I've gone over this thousands of times. Hell, the team over Honkai Star Rail gets this. They added Simulated Universe, which is it's very similar to the Labyrinth Warriors event in Genshin Impact back in the Inazuma arc of Genshin Impact. It's very similar. And I think the Honkai Star Rail team knew that, and that's why they made something like that in Honkai Star Rail called Simulated Universe. It plays very similar to Labyrinth Warriors. You gotta look at the enemies, you set up your team, you pick blessings, and it was just like it looks and plays so much like Labyrinth Warriors. The only difference is it's a turn-based game. Very, 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 very obvious stuff. With that being said, I'll even throw something else at you guys that kind of drives my point home. For the people that are also going to say, hey, well, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's supposed to be kind of played casually. It's supposed to be, like I said, something on the side, which I already defeated that point. People want new things. People want new permanent content into the game. People are kind of getting sick of the come and go events. And that's based on, like I said, the reception I've seen on Twitter, the reception I've seen on Reddit, this reception I've seen from other content creators. You barely see any content creators on Twitch or any other platform getting online and playing Genius Invocation TCG. I'm not saying there aren't any. I'm pretty sure there's just a few that do it. But the other thing is that if you even try to throw in the new player argument, hey, maybe new players want to get on and try this card game out. Oh, okay. Well, let me throw this at you. The Gamer created an article basically going over how a new player can hop in, like what a new player would have to go through in order to jump into this card game. Well, here you go. The first thing you need to do to ensure you meet the following requirements: reach adventure rank 32 or above, so at the very minimum you have to hit 32, and complete the Archon Quest Prologue Act 3 Song of the Dragon and Freedom, which is the it says right here Prologue, that's the Mondstadt story, and reach adventure rank 32, those things. And then you can pretty much jump into the tutorial and beginner introduction to the Genius Invocation TCG card game. 32. For a new player that wants to try to go balls to the wall and get into this, you could do it in about maybe 2 days if you like literally played non-stop. Maybe 2 days. Balls to the wall. If you are the coveted casual player that everyone likes to point to in Genshin Impact, you are not going to be playing this game balls to the wall. You are going to be playing this game off and on, and I would say at the very minimum maybe a week. It would probably take you, a casual player playing off and on, maybe a week to get to adventure rank 32. So what I'm getting at here is that the barrier of entry into the card game is actually kind of steep. It will take you a little bit to get to the card game, which kind of flies in the face of the card game is not even like this is almost an admission that the card game is not even a selling point for Genshin Impact. It is just, hey, here you go. This is a thing on the side. This is something that is not supposed to be taken seriously. And well, the player base is basically treating it like that. The key player base is just not even taking this thing seriously, which is why when the Summoner Summon event came out, everyone literally said, who cares? No one wants to really play this. And so when people were saying, hey, you got your permanent game mode, why don't you jump into it? It's over here in Mondstadt in the Cat's Tail. Hop into it. People are going to look at you and go, I don't care about that card game. I want something tangible that feels like it is something worth jumping into, something that is worth my time, something that rewards me, the player, for being tied to this core gameplay loop of exploration, story, and combat. So let me point to you guys, if I still haven't shown you how this card game has affected Genshin Impact over a year, let me show you one other thing. There was another game that did exactly this. You remember a little old game called The Witcher 3? It created in its game a little mini game called Gwent. It was a card game, not just like Genshin Impact's card game, but it was a card game. The devs at CD Projekt Red did not even, at the very minimum, showed anything about this. When Witcher 3 came out, it was just something like, hey, we also have a card game in here. Just so you know, FYI. Other than that, go play Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. The card game was never the selling point. Yes, was it noted? 100%. But they didn't try to sell it to you like a permanent game mode in Witcher 3. Why? Why did they not do that? Because the card game was never a selling point. The card game was just something added into the game for fun. But the core gameplay to Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was story, combat, exploration. The game was never centered around the card game being a key gameplay feature. In fact, what CD Projekt Red did for people that wanted to really sink their teeth into the card game was, well, what did you know? They made a literal game for the card game. Gwent, the Witcher card game. They made a literal game for the card game. And left Witcher 3 alone. And the fact is, this is ridiculous to even bring up because Witcher 3 is just a single player experience. It is a story-based single player experience for you to just jump into the world of The Witcher and have fun. That is basically the impact of Genius Invocation TCG. Something never were meant to take seriously. People were treating it just like Gwent in The Witcher 3. It's a side thing that, hey, it's there, but I don't care. I am here for the core gameplay experience. Combat, story, exploration. And I'm going to end this video on one more point, on one more notion. I recently heard a content creator, and I'm going to try to keep this brief and paraphrase it. He was going over the subject of a game, and the devs for that game are working on a side project that the devs are hoping will work out pretty well. And so the content creator was asked about this game, and it's the dev side project, and it was like, hey, do you hope that this side project that the devs are working on is going to succeed or fail? What do you want to happen? And so the content creator said, I want this side project to go in one of two different directions. I hope that this project either spectacularly succeeds and blows the expectations out of the water, or it spectacularly fails miserably. One of those two directions, nowhere in the middle. And then he was asked, well, why does that have to go in either direction? And he said, because if it spectacular succeeds, it only means good things. Everyone wins. More money for the devs, which means that all projects win. If it spectacularly fails, then that means that it's probably not salvageable, and they drop it and focus all their attention on the main project, the main game. If it goes in the middle, if it just is middling, that tells the devs that this potentially has hope. And so they're going to sink more money into that side project in hope that they can make it better, in hope that they can recover it. And the problem is that not very often does that work out. The only game that anyone could ever point to that pretty much failed but actually was recoverable was No Man's Sky. But in most cases, it's a money pit. And that means that's resources being taken away from the main project, the main game. It's kind of like how those old stories of when a girl gets with a bad boy or a guy gets with a girl who may be a little crazy. They hope that they can fix these people. The girl hopes that she can make the bad boy a good guy. The guy hopes that he can make the crazy girl normal. But when it doesn't work, when it fails, they want to keep trying and trying and trying until it's too late and they come out damaged on the other end. Same thing with these games. Side projects, more than likely, if they are middling, will fail. That's why he's saying he wants the side project to either spectacularly succeed or spectacularly fail. If it succeeds, everyone wins. If it fails, they drop it and focus on the main project. And that's what I want to leave you guys with. Right now, Genius Invocation TCG is one of those middling projects. When it came out, everyone was like, oh, okay, this is alright. But it's not going anywhere. No one cares. And the devs at Genshin Impact are just still trying to make this work and make people actually take it seriously when no one's wanting to take it seriously. And the devs are actually like, we're not taking this seriously either. Then okay. Bring something into the game that people actually want to see, that people want to sink their teeth into. That's why everyone has been saying, why is Honkai Star Rail doing everything right? And Genshin Impact is barely making any headway with their game, other than decent stories. Exploration and story is really the only thing that Hoyoverse, with the Genshin Impact team, is getting right. But when it comes to core gameplay, it's middling at best. And I personally want Genshin Impact to succeed. I want this game to continue to get better and improve, and I'm seeing that with Honkai Star Rail, but not really with Genshin Impact. I see the story doing really well. I see the exploration being as good as always, but nothing really to keep me into the game other than seeing where the story is going, where the exploration is going. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. You guys have been great. Head down to the comments. Let me know what you guys think of the Genius Invocation TCG. I want to see basically you guys respond to this video and tell me what your opinions are. Are you actually into the card game? Or are you like me and a lot of other people I see and talk to about the game? Like, who cares? And then also, what do you guys want to see added to Genshin Impact? If you're not into the card game, what more do you want to see added to the game? And if you are into the card game, what improvements do you want to see added to it? So with that being said, hit that like and subscribe button. Hitting that like button helps get the video out there. Hitting that subscribe button helps get the channel out there. And hit that notification bell so you'll be informed whenever I go live or upload any new content. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. You guys have been great, and I'll catch you guys later.